Hello, students. This week we have a few more concepts to learn. The first one is partial class. We said C# is a compiled language. So if you label a class as partial and there are multiple partial classes, then when the software compile the code, it will recognize these classes as one class. Okay, so the benefit of this is sometimes you have different developers to work on the same class. And they can work on the different code files and then combine all of them together at the end. And another benefit is sometimes you already completed the class and then you want to add some more properties or some more functions, then you can use a partial class as well. So the structure could be more clear. Okay, so here's a very simple code example. The second concept is sealed class. We talked about inheritance. That's one of the principles of object-oriented programming. But sometimes you want to restrict inheritance instead. For example, there's a class called database helper, and it has all the properties and functions for database connection and updating, adding data, and you don't want this method or this class to be override. So you can put the keyword sealed before the class or before some of the methods. Then this class cannot be inherited by any other classes. So here's the code example. So you can put sealed before a class, and then this B cannot be inherited, can have no more child class. And also, you could put sealed in a particular method, and then even if it has a child class like Z inherits from Y, but it cannot override this method. Okay, so this could be used on a class or on a method. Next one is tuple. So tuple is a data structure that holds a set of data. We learned, like in Python, we learned simple data types are like string, integer, double, and we also learned the complex data structure like array, tuple, or set. So tuple is a complex data type. Tuples are useful when you want to return multiple values from a method, and it can be created using this constructor or by an abstract method named create. So let's have a quick demonstration of this. For example, I want to create a person with its first name, last name, and his age. So I can use a tuple to hold these multiple values. The format we have is a creator tuple, and it has these three types of data: string and int. This variable name is person1, and it's a new tuple. So I give the value to this tuple. That's it. So we can use this to hold this variable called person1. But this is not an object. So it's different from creating a person from a class. Well, alternatively, I can also use this way to write a tuple. And variable person2, and I can use this function class. So this class comes with the C# and under this class, there's a method create, and I can create this tuple. This looks much easier, right? I'm going to use this instead. Both of these methods works. We're very familiar with the class. We could create a class person and then use this class to create an object person 3, which is as convenient as this. And so why do we need to use tuple? So tuple is really used to hold multiple values temporarily, such as the login information, and you don't really want to create a class. You just want to hold the value temporarily. So these are situations when you could use a tuple. The last thing I want to mention is access modifiers. We already very familiar with private and public. Private means you can only use it within the class, and public means you can use anywhere within the class, within the solution, or outside the solution. And these other three modifiers gives you access between private and public. Protected means you can access this property or method from the child classes. And internal means you can use it within the assembly, means within the solution. So when you create the solution, a class, you see by default the class is internal. And the protected internal, this is sometimes confusing. We would think, hey, this gives us access, less access than protected or internal. But actually, it gives you more access. So you can access from the derived classes, and you can access internally anywhere. So within the solution, you can access it anywhere, and outside the solution, you can access from its child classes. Okay, so this one sometimes is a little bit confusing. Okay, let's conclude this week's lesson, and I hope you enjoy the material and the assignments. Let me know if any question.